Yeah, are we rolling, Ron?
We are rolling, sir.
We are rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, it's people like us, we're back. Do you know what? Normally we do a big intro, but I fear that if I do one for you, Shaun, then I'm going to be missing loads. Because you sound like an interesting chap. So, are you the founder of the Arthur Wharton Foundation?
Yeah.
So, we are joined today by Shaun Campbell, the Arthur Wharton Foundation founder. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, obviously when I came into this today, I thought we were just going to be talking about the Arthur Wharton Foundation. Mm-hmm. But I think you've got a lot more to you than just that, mate. So, start from the beginning again, mate. Obviously, you are the founder of this foundation, and we'll get to why that started and what it is. But yeah, where's your story begin? You said Leeds.
My personal life, my story. Yeah. Well, I'm the son of an immigrant from Barbados. My father came up as part of the Windrush generation. Yeah. Came over here to rebuild the country after the Second World War. And you can imagine for people back then coming over to this country, you know, when those people first arrived on the Windrush with their smart hats, ties, you know, looking sharp. We came here as guests of the country. They invited us to come and help. So work on the railways, build the roads, you know, run the buses and all of this kind of stuff. Just do whatever you can. And we said, it's a mother country. We're here to help our mother country, you know. But you then have to remember that they then turn up, they have to stay somewhere. So they've arrived from a very hot country into a very cold country, and then they have to knock on doors and say, do you have any accommodation? But as you approach the door, you'll see a sign and it says, need not apply. No blacks, no Irish, no dogs. Not welcome, you know. Now that's the kind of welcome. And then what we have to do is rise above that. That's adversity, isn't it? If you think about it. You have to kind of somehow get through that. And I was telling Kieran on the way here, you know, that my family being from Barbados, it's the first ever British slave colony.
That was the first?
The first ever. Really? It's the island of Barbados,
right.
Yeah. That's, you know, 1628, I think it was, or 1624. And it was the most brutal, inhumane period in modernity in terms of the way slaves were treated. And I was saying to Kieran, isn't it ironic, 400 years later, surviving all of that, I'm sat with you in a Fiat Punto, driving to Stokesley. I'm just glad to be here after 400 years. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, if you look at it that way, yeah.
And I learned a lot about Kieran and his story as well. I think it's important when you meet anybody that you get to know a bit about them. Yeah. And I made sure I got to know about Kieran on the way here.
Interesting chap.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. And so, you know, for me, it was, born in Leeds, black father, white mother, 1961. So in the 1960s and the 70s, you know, I grew up with, I can only describe it as slightly physically as well. Your mum's a lover, you know, your dad's a. It was like, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I'm not black, I'm not white. I'm in an all-black club, I'm a bit too white. In an all-white club, I'm a bit too black. Being mixed race is not like being black. No. It's not like being white.
Really?
You're caught between a rock and a hard place. Yeah.
So do you like, I won't say swear, but of the two, if someone said, you know, would you say, yeah, I'm well, you did. You introduced yourself as from Barbados, I guess. Your family's from Barbados. No, I didn't introduce
from Barbados. I said my father came over from Barbados.
So one of the first things, but what you did say is when you came in, so I would, from just meeting you, I think you identify more with that side of your heritage because that was how you introduced yourself to me. You didn't say, hello, my mother was from Manchester. You said, hello, my father was from Barbados. So from an outsider looking in, it seemed as though that is...
Very interesting observation. That's very interesting observation. I have no... All I can say about that is that because we're here today talking about Arthur Wharton and we're talking about how this all began.
Could be why.
It's connecting that blackness, if you like, that side of me in terms of perhaps what was the instigator for recognising the importance of celebrating Arthur. So, yeah, that's a good observation, I must say. And the thing was, you see, growing up then, it was very difficult, a white woman with a black man.
Oh, 1960s?
60s and the 70s, man. It was, you know, white women with black men are seen as loose women, as you even start to slightly believe it yourself as a young boy because you hear it that much and it's not nice. And I remember my mother with those 4 mixed-race boys walking along and they'd first of all see Mum and she'd get wolf whistles and that, and then they'd see the boys, the little ducklings, if you like, coming along, and then suddenly it changes.
Right.
And Mum's like, just keep it. She's getting all these insults fired at her, and just keep your heads down, lads. And we just kind of walk along, and you see when you're at school and you're getting, because people always sort of question you when you're mixed race. It's like, do you see yourself more black than white, or you know, is your sense of humour? It's kind of like, well, it's just whatever makes you laugh makes you laugh. It's neither black nor white, but you do get the best of both worlds. But we were very poor growing up. But we were some of the most luckiest people in the world, man, because we were this inspirational teacher, Nadine Senior. You're familiar with the Billy Elliot story and things like that. Well, sat before you right now is the original kind of Billy Elliots. We are the people. Hare Hills Middle School had this teacher who wanted to get these young, black, mixed race, Asian, white, very multicultural school. She wanted to get these hard lads, you know, in tights and leotards. We were like, we're not wearing tights and leotards, miss. It's not. And we're kids, you know, little kids.
Yeah.
But she had a passion for dance. And she said, look, if you dance, right, at break times, you won't be outside getting cold and wet. You'll have room 24. It's just on the side of the hall. That's where you'll hang out because we'll be practicing and training. And we said, well, and we were skint, you know, I mean, real poor. And it was like, well, do we get extra milk and a bag of crisps or something if we... Yeah. And the deal was kind of done unspokenly. And we went on a tour of dancing.
No way.
Oh, yeah. It was the first time it had really been done. And from that, some of the most principled dancers you will have ever seen at Ballet Rambert, at London School of London Contemporary Dance Theatre, Netherlands Ballet, that's us.
Right.
They're people who, it's them. It's those kids
that school
who became principal. My brother's a very well-known dance choreographer, very celebrated in the dance world.
Wow.
I was a dancer. The only reason I only came to Darlington for a week. I was a dancer in London, or training to be a dancer, at the London Studio Centre. I had an interest in drama as well, so I wanted to combine them. And I fell out of love with the art of dance. It became a bit... I don't want to be disingenuous, but I liked the narrative of dance, and it became a bit arty-farty, flicky-flicky. I thought, it's not really for me, but I'd love to write music for it. So I went and got a degree in creative arts, majored in music, and I ended up writing music for pieces for Scottish Ballet, Zimbabwe National Ballet, Durham Theatre Company, Cleveland Theatre Company. But in between times, I'm a funk guy. You know, I'm playing funk and reggae and stuff. But all of this kind of shaped I'm just a creative whirling dervish, you know. I do lots of artwork and stuff like that. I've done the murals that Dan Wall's done. In between him doing them, I'm doing them, you know.
You do it too?
Oh, I do some as well, yeah.
Right.
And so at a very young age, we had some kind of acclaim. And the first ever theatre arts group was set up at secondary school, and we had to travel 11 miles to get there. Right. It was in Pudsey in Leeds. It was weird, because most people were white, and you suddenly had these black and brown people from Hare Hills coming to Pudsey to be on a theatre arts course to turn them into proper dancers and actors, and it was...
People have never seen that before.
No, it's a unique story. It's very well celebrated within certain circles, but we are the ones. It's me, my brother Nev, Andy, Vince. I've got 3 brothers. It's Gurmit Hookham. It's, you know, Darshan Bueller, Philip Taylor. You know, it's all of these. That's us. Wow. We are the original Billy Elliots. And so we always grew up with a sense of confidence throughout it all, even though we were skint and we were poor. And there were days where my mum wouldn't send us back to school in the afternoon because we were hungry. Right. We didn't have anything for lunch. She was too proud for school dinners at first.
Got you.
And it was kind of like, Mum, just let us, I'm not sending my hungry 4 boys to school with nothing to eat. I'd rather you be at home hungry here with me, kind of thing. We were like, fuck's sakes, Mum. Sorry, didn't mean to swear there.
Oh no, I swear away.
We didn't swear back then. We've always been pretty polite kids growing up. You see a lot of mixed race kids growing up. The ironic thing is, it's usually one parent, a single white mother. The black father isn't usually on the scene. Even today, it's a bit like that, although it's much more integrated in society now. But back then, it was very much a single white mum. And you see, when you get in your abuse at school, you know that as a white mother, she got far worse abuse than my black father, as a white woman with a black man.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, really cutting, hurting, deep stuff. And so we had to rise through that, whilst doing everything else we were doing and trying to rise above. And football was always really important to us. I've always been a decent footballer at my level. I don't mean, and I always wanted to keep that. But having trained in dance, I get very few injuries. I'm so supple and loose, and the muscles are just always ready to, instead of heading the ball, my leg will go boom. It has done on occasion. It's just like bump. It's like, what? I remember they put me in goal once, a game against Dearbolt. I was playing for the Royal Stillington.
Against Dearbolt?
Against Dearbolt.
The prison?
The prison, yeah.
Right.
And, and the ball came across. Our goalkeeper got injured, so I went in goal. And as the ball came over, I saw our player rise and the other player rise, and I thought, when they hit that, it's going to go over my head, behind me. And I was right, and he did that, and I just went totally backwards like that. Total backflip, and caught the ball on the line like that. I have no idea where that came from. But it was, and then in the next game, I was back outfield against them. They can't play away, you see.
Obviously. yeah, bless him, yeah. Always a home game with them, isn't it?
Yeah. And then just on the halfway line, man, I got this ball and I hit it on the volley straight in the back of the net. It was just like, Dearbolt and I have some very affectionate memories, Why did I start talking about them? I really don't know.
You were talking about you were playing football and...
Oh, yeah, and it kind of complemented the dance stuff, yeah. Mm. And then I literally... found myself, this is how I learned about Arthur. Years later, I had a shop called Drum Art Furniture in Darlington. So if you imagine like a tree carved into a sun lounger, right, that's my shop. Okay. With loads of artwork and African pieces and funky furniture. Where was this shop? It was on Grange Road, just opposite Bilgill, a really funky place. Right. And I'd just taken the business on my birthday, 28th of September. I'd just opened, And of course, a few months later, we had the world's worst ever economic crisis, didn't we? So in March of the following year, it was like, wow, what have I done? But within a month of starting up that new business, I was invited to give a talk for Black History Month at Middlesbrough Town Hall. Okay. And I didn't even realise there was a Black History Month, I have to be honest. And I thought, yeah, sure. What do you want me to talk about? And it was to talk about the history of black people and music. So you imagine the music in Africa coming to the West, how that music influenced us in the West and how Western music influenced. And I said, yeah, sure, because I'd done my music degree in creative arts and I'd gone to Zimbabwe. I'd learned to play the mbira and things like that. I'd composed a piece of music while I was out there for Macbeth, for Durham Theatre Company. Well, I got this phone call when I was there. I'm going to go off piste here, but I was in Zimbabwe. My musical partner, God rest his soul, Paul Cancellan, rang me up. He said, hey, Shaun, he says, listen, with Durham Theatre Company have asked us if we can compose a piece for Macbeth. No, we didn't. Didn't have mobiles back then, so I'm thinking, Paul, this is going to be an expensive phone call, so be quick. I said, well, I'm in Zimbabwe. We can't compose it, man. There's no way we can do it in the timescale they want. What, 3.5, 4 weeks? And he was disappointed. I put the phone down and I thought, hang on a minute. I'm in Zimbabwe, for God's sakes. Shaman, The Three Witches, Macbeth. You couldn't be in a better place. I just need to find what it... And I thought, the mbira, those guys that play this piece of wood, I should have brought it in for you, man. In fact, I've actually...
Have a look at that thing. What's it called?
It's called an mbira. M-B-I-R-A. Mbira.
Ah, right, this thing. It looks a bit like... them pipes that Peter Pan would play.
No, it's not. That's it. Keep that up. That's the exact image. So you play that with your thumbs like this and your finger. So I was over there. I can actually play. No, I'd have to send it to you. Wow. And you play it, and it's just got the most beautiful sound.
Really?
Oh, it's incredible. And so anyway, I ended up writing Macbeth on that. I said to my musical partner, it's basically in the key of C or whatever it was. You compose in England, I'll compose in Zimbabwe, and when we come back, we're just going to put them together and see what happens. So during the afternoon, it's either going to work or we ain't got time to do it. So I accept the commission. So he did. So I accepted the commission. I came back. We sat down, took a deep breath, man, put the two pieces of music together, and it was like marriage made in heaven. So it just worked.
You've composed a piece of music, sorry to interrupt, on an Mbura in Zimbabwe, and your musical partner composed on a what?
Using technology and guitar, music technology, a little bit of keyboard. So he composed an arrangement. I told him basically what key it needed to be in, and I'll be in such and such a time. He'd never heard it. I couldn't just transfer a file over to him. It wasn't like that then.
No, of course.
So I came back. I had an Mbira that they'd given me as well, so I was able to play it sort of live along with it if I wanted. But I'd also recorded it on a tape. So I said, well, start the tape, and at the point at which you think it's going to kick in with the right timing, press play on yours. And he went, and it was like, for fuck's sakes, how did that happen?
And it just worked.
It was, sorry, language, folks. I'm not usually, I don't use it freely, and it just worked. And it was, I could play it on my laptop for you, but one day I'll play it for you. Or I'll send you a little file.
Send us it in. I mean, we do put snippets in the show. So at this point in the show, there'll be a snippet of that being played.
Oh, right. Okay, I might even... Well, what I'll probably do is record myself playing it so you can see how it's played, and then you'll get it. Yeah.
I'm fascinated. I'm sure the viewers are as well.
Wow. So, yeah, it was... that was a strange journey. But you see, it was then at this talk in Middlesbrough where a friend of mine I took with me said, hey, Shaun, you seen this? This little brochure. Arthur Wharton, Darlington.
You'd never heard of him at this point?
No. Right. This is 2007. And I'm like, footballer, cricketer, it was just like a paragraph, nothing, 4 or 5 lines, that's it. I thought, how can I be so passionate about sport and not have heard of him? It's madness. Anyway, I went back and I started painting a piece about him, a piece of artwork on a piece of old board. But the crazy thing was, it wasn't a blank canvas. I'd already started, it was a piece of board and it had all this wood grain on it. And I thought, I'm just going to fill in the wood grain, see what patterns come out of it. And lo and behold, there was a pure, perfect Scottish saltire in the wood.
Okay.
And at the other side, there was a knot in the wood. And if I followed the lines down, it was like an African woman with the head bowed like that. And I thought, so I had like an African woman and a Scottish flag. So African woman down the bottom. The saltire up there. And I thought, oh my God, this Arthur Wharton is Scottish Ghanaian. It's like this piece, and so I'm looking around for this piece of wood that I've started, which have these in, and I thought, I've got to paint it on this.
Yeah.
This is like, this is weird, because they're naturally in the wood, and I'm going to, So I painted Arthur on it. Next thing you know, some guy comes in my shop, asks me about the painting. I tell him enthusiastically, oh, Arthur Wharton, So I'm just painting a little tribute. Northern Echo came in the next morning. Some guy's been down the office and said, there's a guy in Darlington celebrating a Darlington hero that he's never heard of. Why don't you go and have a chat with him? So anyway, Owen Amos came in, son of Mike Amos. And next thing you know, journalists being bloody journalists, local businessman starts campaigns on Arthur Wharton. That's not what I was doing.
I'd paint the picture.
What, in the world's worst economic crisis as well? I've just started a business. It was like, no, But then I went home and I thought, well, look, if I've not heard of him, nobody's put a cherry on his cake, man. I need to do this. So I got hold of the author of the book about Arthur. I decided, why not? I'll just do it. I didn't know anything about campaigning. I got hold of the author. I got hold of Irving Welsh, the author of Trainspotting and that. Irving's a patron of ours, by the way, now. Okay. But I got hold of him. We met up in London because he'd written a foreword to this book about Arthur that was existed. And we had quite a good night in London in 2007 just talking about Arthur. And me saying, I want to put the cherry on your cake, guys. I can't believe that the whole world of football's not picked up on this. This is mad. You know, think of Cyril Regis with a bullet in the post. Think of Big Bob Hazel, the abuse he used to get. Then go back to my beloved Leeds United, and perhaps, you know, you think of people like Albert Johansson, who died a dreadful death, just like Arthur did ultimately. And I'm thinking, this is the original pioneer, the guy who paved the way for every black player today, not just in this country, for Pelé, for everybody else who followed after Arthur. The northeast of England was the hotbed for that.
That's crazy, man.
It is.
It is.
But it's the truth as well. It's not it's not a romantic story. It's just pure fact. Because he was the one who got that opportunity that opened that door.
Right.
Played in a semi-final against Sunderland, you know. Won the Challenge Cup for Darlington. You see him sitting there with his welding gloves on. The game was hard. You could barrack the goalkeeper, and he played 7 games of football, man, in 10 days to feed the poor.
Wow.
In his own face of his own adversity.
Am I right in saying that this is the photo with his welding gloves on?
Yeah, there you go. And I discovered that photograph. That was in Darlington. This is a really important photograph. So you see the cup. There's Arthur, obviously, in his welding gloves next to the cup. There you go. Now, at that time, this is a bleak Victorian England. That's 1887.
Right.
Okay? 1887. At that time, and that's actually at Feetham's, Darlington's original, and should still be their ground. And at that time, you could barrack the goalkeeper, you really rough, you know. But Arthur was the fastest man in the world. 3rd of July, 1886, a year before that, he'd gone to Stamford Bridge and ran 10 seconds dead, 100 yards, the first time in history ever in even time. And his record stood for over 37 years, mate.
Right.
Running for Darlington.
So let's at this point, I think this is...
So he used to come run out of goal. So so I don't forget this. So being that quick, he used to run out of goal, and he could score 2 or 3 goals at a time and then run back. Nobody could catch him.
Right.
For different teams, he would play on the wing. It wasn't just a goalie. So,
right. Yeah. So I think this is a good time to because I actually don't know anything about Arthur Wharton apart from what I've now learnt. That he was the first black footballer and the stuff you've just mentioned. But I assume through your research and your passion, you know more about him then. Like, how did he end up, he was this, he was that, he was the other. Well, what was his story? How did he end up there?
What a great question that is. Arthur was born 1865, 28th of October, 1865, the very year of the abolition of slavery in America.
Right.
On the day he was born, the freedmen of Edisto Island, these are freed black slaves who were promised land by the government. On the day Arthur was born, they were marching to say, you've made us free, but you've given us nothing.
Right.
We don't have food, we don't have water, we don't have the land you promised us, we've got nothing. So that's the backdrop to the day Arthur was born. Also on the same day Arthur was born, 28th of October, 1865, the Idaho Indian laws treaties were passed. Right?
Right. All on the same day?
All on the same day. And also on the same day, the Thanksgiving Proclamation that we all hear today.
Right.
So imagine this young black boy being born in Ghana. Again, so that backdrop in history, just to give you what I'm trying to do here is just to place him in a space you might recognise historically.
Yeah.
He then came to England a couple of times in his teenage years because his family were Methodists. His father was a white Scottish missionary born on the island of Grenada in the Caribbean. This is where his Caribbean roots comes in.
So his dad was?
His dad was white Scottish, but he was born on Grenada in the Caribbean.
I mean, there's another story in itself, how his dad ended up...
Exactly. Well, he was a missionary, and so he was born there when his father was a missionary to become Methodist. They were Methodists. So he was born there. He went to further his Methodist preachings. The father, Henry Wharton, went to Ghana, fell in love with a Fante princess,
right,
a member of the Fante tribe, okay? And they fell in love, and they had Arthur. Hence, Arthur was born in Ghana. Now, you have to understand that the name Arthur Wharton, it doesn't sound African, does it?
It does not.
So trying to champion Arthur as an African hero in Africa, it doesn't sound African. Which is why when we unveiled that amazing mural created by the legendary JKs from Spain, funded by BT Sport, thank God, because we couldn't afford it, I said to the artist on the day he was doing it, we're going to call him Kwame. We're going to give him his African name. Kwame, anybody you ever meet, Dan, in life called Kwame, they were born on Saturday.
Okay.
Anybody called Kofi, like Kofi Annan, born on a Friday. Because every Ghanaian gets a day name. You
Really?
see? So on match day, it's Saturday, isn't it? And Arthur was born on match day. So we call him Arthur Kwame Wharton. So now, the people in Africa know who he is now.
Right.
Now that we've given him his African name, it's like, he's African Kwame, that's Ghanaian. Straight away.
Okay.
So to hear about this young... So basically he came from quite an affluent background in Ghana.
Okay.
His family were, owned the Gold Coast Times newspaper and things like that.
Okay.
And Arthur became a Methodist. So he was sent to England to study as a Methodist preacher. Originally he went to Shaun College in Cannock, the Black Country, near West Brom and that.
Yeah.
He went there, played football for Cannock White Cross, the same place where Stan Collymore played football. He's from Cannock. But then that college closed down, so he was sent to Darlington Cleveland College.
Okay.
He was 19. And this legendary trainer, I call him legendary, because I think he is, because he discovered Arthur. He saw this young black man with a turn of speed running across the forecourts of Darlington College. He must have thought, fuck me, he's quick. Seen this guy go. And he said, hey, you fancy playing football? You fancy a game of cricket? You fancy running? And Arthur's like, yeah, okay, go on then. And, my God, the world's first ever black professional footballer, the world's first ever fastest man on the planet, professional cricketer, professional rugby player, and a cycling champion. The world's undoubtedly now greatest ever all-rounder. Even America accept that kind of now.
Yeah.
When I was on the Black News Channel talking about Arthur and things like this in America, I mean, people like Jay Leno, you'll have seen on our video, Arthur Wharton, #1. I mean, his name is getting out there. It was me and Stevie Wonder, 2007. Well, I'll come on to that in a minute. So Arthur came from quite an aristocratic background. So to jump further ahead, when Arthur wanted to return to Ghana, he wasn't really accepted because he turned his back on the church and he become this sportsman.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So he turned his back on the church to be the sportsman then?
Yeah, but did he really turn his back, or did he carry on? He didn't preach, but did he continue praying? Was he still true to God? I don't know. It's kind of like, just because he didn't become a preacher, his family wouldn't welcome him back. So he went to work in the coal mine in Edlington near Doncaster, working the coal face, the proper.
With the
and he
pigs.
died. Yeah, and he died a horrendous illness. He got cancer. His nose grew really large. He got alcoholism. He was a publican. He had a pub that he ran, and he had a tobacconist shop that he ran, and stuff like this. But then he died a pauper as a miner, totally unforgotten. Died in 1930.
And this was after
on the
this
12th of December.
prestigious career.
Yeah. Died 12th of December 1930, and he laid in an unmarked grave until 1998.
That's crazy. I don't understand how this guy was so prolific, I guess, in these multiple fields. Like, obviously, when he was being very good at all of these things, people must have took note of him. He must have been a big deal. To be a professional, I assume you mean he was getting paid for doing it.
Correct. And that's the key thing. That is the absolute crux of it. There's a guy called... no, I'll come on to that in a second, actually. You see, when you're paying somebody the same as somebody else, and it doesn't matter about your colour, that's when you know you're kind of on a par. You know that you're getting paid. Andrew Watson was Scotland's first ever captain, and he was black, mixed race, like us, and but from Guyana. He was Scotland's first ever captain. Just think about that. You don't see black people playing for Scotland.
No.
Right? To this day, no team has ever beaten England so bad as Andrew Watson's team for Scotland. They beat us 6-1 at the Kennington Oval, would you believe?
Right.
Right? Remarkable. And do you know who they sent? Do you know who taught the English how to play football? Andrew Watson. He was sent from Scotland to play for Corinthians to teach the English how to play football properly.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Scotland were the superpower back then in terms of football.
Really?
And he came here. And to this day, he's never got the recognition that he deserves, which is why I'm on now with the Scottish board of the FA saying, look, you know, it's time. It's time. And you see, the crazy thing is, I'm sat before you now, Dan, as Shaun Campbell, right? The name taken from my black father, yeah? Do you know any Africans called Campbell? No.
Yeah?
No, I mean Africans.
Oh.
Right? I would be Sean Adewale Pafuja or something.
Right.
But you see, the name Campbell or Rashford, there's no Rashfords, natural African names, or
No.
Sterlings.
No.
These are our slave names, Dan.
Right.
You know, I was at Crystal Palace giving a talk for with Show Race and the Red Card, invited up with them guys. And this young lad, about 15, 16, said, isn't it brilliant that the kind of racism that was back then, black and white, you know, the black slavery, that it doesn't exist anymore and you're free from those chains? I said, whoa, hang on a second, young man. We're never free. You know, I'm a Campbell. That's not my natural surname. That's been raped and beaten out of us. We haven't a clue what African names are. That's why Rashford, that's not African. That's his slave name. Same with... So when you think we're not free of it, it's not chips on shoulders.
No.
It's just the truth and the fact.
It's just how it came to be.
Exactly. And it's, you know, it's not your fault.
No.
It's not my fault.
No.
It's just the way things are. But don't ever, you know, neglect the fact that, you know, there's a reason for continuing to want to be considered equal and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know where to lead you next other than Arthur then came to Darlington, played football. As you can see, 1887. Oh, there's Andrew Watson.
This is Andrew Watson from
That's Andrew Watson,
the Scottish captain.
The Scottish captain.
Okay.
That's him. Now, that's 11 years before Arthur, which is why your point makes sense. It was amateur. He wasn't getting paid,
Okay.
even though he was a captain of Scotland and he did all these great things. Arthur was the first black person to get paid as an equal.
Okay.
So that's the difference between...
So Arthur wasn't the first black footballer in England, or in the United Kingdom.
He was the first black professional.
Black professional. Got you.
But it was Arthur who paved the way for all those who followed, along with the likes of Andrew Watson. But there's a third one, Walter Tull. Walter Tull, ironically, was born... family came from my home village in Barbados, which I only found out later on.
Gosh.
But he played for Tottenham, played for Northampton. Here you go, that's him, Walter Tull. Walter Tull played for Tottenham and Northampton, but he then... we had the First World War, and the Middlesex regiment that he served in didn't have a leader, so the men wouldn't fight. Okay? They said the only man that we feel could lead us is this guy, Walter Tull. Right? If he leads us, we'll fight. But when you look at the British Handbook of the day, Dan, in black and white, it says no person of colour shall be an officer in the British Army. Right?
It said that then?
Yes.
Right.
And so the men said, well, unless it's him, we ain't fighting. So they made him an officer, conscripted, the first ever black conscripted officer. He led his men all over Europe. He led his men in the Battle of the Somme. The Somme.
No way.
Twice. Went in once, pushed back, went in second time, died, leading his men. His men fought to try and get his body back. That's how much it meant to them.
Wow.
And to this day, right, every single officer got a military cross, except him, because he was black. He still ain't got it, which is why we're fighting for that. And which is why, if ever you come, you must come to the foundation. I hand paint these things on the wall. Anybody can print something and stick it up. But when you're painting it and the name, you're painting Walter Tull, or you're painting, you know, you're part of it. And we've given him his medal symbolically in a piece of art. It's not really a piece of art. It's just a statement, really, on our interior walls, you know. But we are championing now to get him that medal. It has to go through His Majesty. But I found another route. People have tried. David Lammy, the MP, took it to Theresa May when she was Prime Minister. The Prime Minister took it to Her Majesty the Queen. I know, because I've met David Lammy. I know, you know, I'm immersed in this stuff with all the others trying to champion it. And the Queen, God rest her soul, said to Theresa May, no, respectively, no, I can't have it. She took that back to Dave Lammy.
And I suppose the Queen doesn't really have to give an explanation, does she?
You know what I'm saying? So, but she's not there anymore, and I think King Charles is somebody I do have, good feelings about. He's done some great stuff, despite, whether you're a royalist or not. This guy has brought some good stuff to this planet in championing, architecture, the environment, and various other things. Other stuff in his personal life that being a royalist says, not to do that. It's just that he's the guy in position who can make sure that he gets that military cross. And I want it. But nobody's managed to get it yet. So my battle right now is to get that military cross for him with others. But I found a sneaky little route where I think I can get some power going. The Queen of Denmark is a really funky lady, right? Okay. Historically, the Queen of Denmark has always been the Commander-in-Chief of the Middlesex Regiment. So hold that thought, yeah. She's now retired. I don't know if you remember last year, she retired and her son has now taken over. Well, she's a funky queen. She likes a G&T and a fag on the balcony.
Does she?
I will sit with her with a G&T and a fag. And then I'm going to invite Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, our Prime Minister. In the Caribbean, women don't really reach that many heights of power, kind of thing. Mia Motley has become the Prime Minister of Barbados. But she sounds like Brian Blessed, She's like got this lovely, and she's like, she just took Barbados out. She just said, we're not having a referendum. We're breaking away from the United Kingdom in that sense. We're going to become independent republic, as it were, because we need to stand on our own 2 feet, etc. So some people are for her, some are against her. But there's no doubt she's powerful. I'm going to ask Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, and the former Queen of Denmark, to jointly compel His Majesty to do the right thing by Walter Tull. And you've heard that first here. I almost don't want that to be aired, that bit, but at the same time, people are just going to have to wait and see. I don't know if I can pull that off, but I'll go there with somebody like a Danish. I'll take Kasper Schmeichel, He got his debut in Darlington, he might as well do something for Darlington. As a Danish ambassador, or Peter Schmeichel, or Eriksson, somebody like that. So from a footballing perspective, can help me to appeal to Her Majesty, her former Majesty. Mia Motley will get it instantly. She will know this is about the unique history and legacy of Barbados, because they're now independent and a republic. So we need to champion our champions for Barbados. There's Mia Motley. She's an amazing woman, man.
And she's a Prime Minister of Barbados.
She's the Prime Minister of Barbados. And I want her to compel His Majesty. But before I do that, I want a little caveat to that. I think if I can get the word to His Majesty before approaching the former Queen of Denmark and Mia Motley, I guess he probably doesn't even know about Walter Tull and his sacrifice for this country.
Probably not.
Maybe his mum never told him, you get me? So because I like him, I need to give him my maximum courtesy and try my best to get to him and say, I don't want to compel you to do this, Your Majesty. I want you to want to do it, because I'm going to tell you a story that I hope you understand is vitally important for our armed forces and our service personnel. They need to know that all of their sacrifices matter. That every single one of them fought so that we can be in front of each other today to give us this opportunity. Why hasn't he got his medal? Give it to him. So that's what I need to try and somehow get to happen. So this is because of Arthur Wharton. You see, me following Arthur Wharton and championing him has led me down all these other roads. You can see now, can't you, the transferable elements that compel you to want to do the right thing by somebody. And as long as you have one phrase in mind, we don't do bling, we do the right thing. If there's any ego involved, or it's about you, or it's about me. So I was telling your colleague Kieran on the way here, it's the bit in the middle.
Right.
If you're not doing it for the right reasons, get out. Because it's not about, even today, Dan, it's not about you. It's not about me. We're telling a story about that we were trying to educate people about, to inform them about. And if there's something in there for them, brilliant.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow you'll do a different podcast and I'll be doing something else. I'll still be doing Arthur. But I'll be knocking down buildings, which is what I do days in the week. I'm just a beast covered in cement, breaking stuff up and moving 27 tons of wheelbarrow stuff and that. People don't see that side of me.
No.
At all. But that's my gym work.
Right.
Gyms are boring, man. I want to move earth. I want to break down walls. I want to pull ceilings down.
What is it you do with? What do you do during the day? You're a builder.
I do that kind of stuff, yeah.
Right.
But I do so many different kind of things like this, and like a bit of consultation work, a bit of that. But on a day-to-day basis, 3-4 days a week, I'm breaking stuff up.
Right.
I'm getting in a building, looking at it, and I'm told, right, that's got to be all taken out, back down to just right, okay. And then we get on it, me and my Danny House, and we just beast it.
Wow.
Get dirty. Get physical with it.
Who needs
Love
the gym,
it.
Eh?
It keeps you young. It keeps you. I don't know. Your body changes and the thing is, because you do. I'm digressing. We're here to talk about Arthur. That's gone on to me a bit, but so yeah. And you see the way my downtime, my when I'm trying to do all of that about Arthur to champion Walter Tull, Andrew Watson, the Frank Sue campaign where you'll have seen Frank Sue got his England cap. First Chinese player. Well, that wouldn't happen until they contact me and say, Shaun, how did you do it? Nobody ever sees me on the camera championing them, showing them and helping them how to do it. And all I tell them is the mistakes I made. Don't tell them how to do anything, actually. It's like, don't do this, don't do that. If you get the opportunity to do this, take it, because otherwise, da-da-da. And next thing you know, Jack Leslie, the England player who turned up for Plymouth. You'll have seen that on the news where he got a statue erected for him. Well, they approached me when they were doing it to say, Shaun, how do you do it? Because we have, Dan, the biggest statue of any sportsman in the country. It stands from the centre of a St George's cross at St George's Park with all of the England teams. There's an incredible picture of our current England squad at that statue. Oh, I should have sent you that.
It'll be on the internet, is it?
I have no idea where you'll find it.
What statue is it?
That's the statue.
This?
Oh, yeah. But you want to see it with all the England squad. I wonder if I send it through to Kieran, if I send a picture through to Kieran now, on his WhatsApp, he'll get it, won't he? Let me see if I can find one, because I doubt you'll find it on there. But that's our statue.
Well, and this is Arthur Wharton?
It's Arthur Wharton. It's the biggest statue of any sportsman in the country, man. And look where he rises from. Now think of all those St George's flags going up around the country. Right, when I saw him going up, I thought, wow. Before I thought, whoa.
And this is at St George's Park?
St George's Park, where all the England teams are based.
How long has this been here for, this statue?
2014 I unveiled it. I unveiled it with Cyril Regis, Brendan Batson, Viv Anderson, the legends, Paul Davis, all of these guys. We were all there, man, and it was deep. Chris Houghton. And it was heavy. I've sent a video, actually. Your colleague's got a video of their statue unveiling on the day.
We'll put that up.
So you can have a look at that. In the meantime, let me see if I can find this picture to send.
Yeah, of course. So you, this isn't just something you're passionate about. You're actually making stuff happen.
Oh, yeah. By default, I am. It's kind of like I'm probably the shyest guy you'd ever meet. I wouldn't want to be...
Isn't it strange that you stumbled into this sort of by accident?
It was by accident.
Like you never woke up one day and said, I know what I'm going to do. It was just...
That's right.
This happened, then that happened, then there was the thing with the painting on the wood, and all of a sudden, a bit of a eureka moment that I've got to do this. Something's pointing me in this direction.
Yeah. I just felt, when I just kind of thought, well, look, how can somebody who's achieved so much be not known? It just didn't sit comfortable with me, you see. And I thought, well, the only thing I can do is do the right thing by him, champion him. And
so
you see, there's Sheila Leeson, the lady in the pink top. That's Arthur's great-granddaughter, right?
Oh, is it?
She was 82 years old. She had 2/3 of her stomach moved with bowel cancer.
Bless her.
And I said to her, God, can you imagine if we could get you to Africa, man, to meet Arthur's relatives over there? And we did. We took her, man.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Took her over. She walks in a room, and they're all lined up, and they're lawyers and doctors. His family, remember, they're quite aristocratic. I'm not saying they're well-to-do. I'm not trying to elevate them.
No.
I'm just saying it wasn't like. I want people to have the right image of how it went down. It was just they're all sat there in their day clothes, and she walked in, and to see them, it was unreal. And right at the end of it, Elizabeth Grant, because it's the Grant family in Ghana that is this named family, his relatives. She turns to the camera and she says, "Doesn't it make a refreshing change to see white people tracing their black roots?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
You normally see it the other way, don't you?
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful, man. And God rest her soul, man. She came back to England and she passed away.
Oh.
It's like she never thought in a million years she'd get there.
No.
And not in a million years would I have let her pass before taking her there. She just didn't know it. It had to be done, man.
This is again something that you instigated and made happen.
I got contacted by the BBC to say, look, they hear that we want to get Sheila over to Ghana. I'm like, yes. And they said, well, we'd like to make a documentary about it. And then typically the BBC will try and slightly railroad it, slightly.
To make it more
more how they want it.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're either, no.
Yeah.
I have a duty of care, Dan. Right. But to Arthur's legacy, to make sure it's done right.
Yes.
Right. It's never about me. You'll see me everywhere with it. That's only because it's the nature of the beast. I hate everything when I see myself doing. So it doesn't matter if I'm with Usain Bolt. See, I'll give you an example of that. 2008, I get a ticket through the door. And it's for a trade fair in Birmingham, the NEC. So I think, all right, and on the back of it said, Stevie Wonder in concert on the Monday. So this is the actual Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? So I told my wife, hey, look, man, I might stay over on the Monday and go to sorry, but you're a school teacher, you won't be able to go. But I'd quite like to see him live in concert. I might stay over a night, you know? And she's like, go away if you have to, you know. I was laid in bed on the Friday night thinking, I don't seem right, really. And I thought, but if there's one person in the world who'd understand the importance of this, it's Stevie Wonder. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, Monday night, I'm live on stage with Stevie Wonder, and Stevie Wonder unveiled the statue for me, the maquette statue. I took George Boateng with me. He's a patron of ours. And George was like, I rang him up. He was in Holland at the time. He'd left Middlesbrough, joined Hull. And he said, hey, Shaun, you know, he's got that dusky voice, George. He goes, hey, Shaun, how you doing, brother? I'm like, okay, George. I says, where are you? He said, I'm in Holland. I got this slight injury. I've got my physio out here, sorted me out. I've got a game against Arsenal next Saturday. I said, all right. I said, well, look, on Monday, just to give you a heads up, I'm going to be meeting Stevie Wonder. He's going to champion Arthur Wharton. Oh, yeah, Stevie Wonder. Yeah, Stevie Wonder. Which Stevie Wonder? I said, you know, Stevie Wonder. What, you mean Stevie Wonder? I said, yeah. I said, so if you want, but you come meeting with me on the Monday. Oh, there you go. Oh, did you find that? Oh, yeah, it's an hour thing, yeah. So anyway, we get there and we're getting a load of attention outside because everybody recognises George from Aston Villa and Coventry. And it's in Birmingham. So he's got like, you know, and George is kind of loving it. He's signing autographs and all this. And people think I'm famous, so asking for me. I said, I'm nobody. You don't even know it. They said, no, but you look famous. You're like your footballer or something. I said, no, honestly, there was one guy who wouldn't take no. And I went, look, there you go. Yeah. I gave him one, and it just felt wrong. But and he said, you never know. Might be worth something one day. I said, trust me, it won't. As it turns out, you never know. Not because I'm me. All I mean is, he actually got me I actually wrote it for him and George signed next to it. And I wrote something to do with Arthur Wharton underneath it. Just a little quirky thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, because I was thinking, I haven't got the ego for that. That's just way out of my comfort zone, you know. But anyway, we got inside. We're getting too much attention, so I rang Milton, Stevie Wonder's brother. Said, we need to get us in here, man. We're getting too much attention out here. So they came, Latanya Marble came, took us in the lift backstage, and George is like, oh, where are we going? I said, you're going backstage. And we got back there, it was like family. But Nathan Watts walked in, the legendary bass player who plays on all of those great tracks of Stevie. Hey, man, long time no see, brother, to me. And is he talking to me? There's only me against that wall. I'm thinking he's mistaking me for somebody else. So I go, oh, Nathan Watts, my God, man, what an absolute honour to meet you. What a privilege. No, man, you know me. We met before, man. I'm saying, I'm looking around, I'm thinking, there's loads, Eddie Wolf's there, the legendary photographer, all these. And I'm thinking, I can't lie and say, hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah, can't go along with it.
So I said, look, we've never met. I said, don't know who you think I am, but you're the legendary Nathan Watts, so shall we just get a nice picture, mate? You know. I said, but we haven't met, honestly. I could see him blushing. I know what a black man looks like when he's blushing and when he's uncomfortable. Of course I do. And it was that. But I wasn't going to lie and pretend I knew him.
Right.
What if I was being set up? What if it was a plan to sort of say, is this guy...
Yeah.
You see, my brother said to me, remember, Stevie Wonder's blind? I said, I'm hardly likely to forget that.
Yeah.
He says, but he's going to be smelling you. He's going to be touching you if you get that close. He will suss you out. Mm. He will know if you're authentic or not. And I was like, I never thought of it like that. But he's right, his senses will be
heightened.
Yeah, especially being him. Mm. And he's really attuned to doing the right thing. Anyway, so suddenly he's on stage and he starts playing Inner Visions and that, which is important to remember for a comment later. And then all of a sudden, the Tanya Marble... we're backstage, it's really comfy. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey guys, it's time to get you to the stage. We'd completely forgotten that we were there to even do anything. We were so comfy backstage now, I'd forgotten there was actually a concert to see. You know what I mean? Now, Stevie almost didn't make it. The day before, on that Sunday, before the Monday, there was a hurricane in New York. It was well documented. It was on all the news here as well. And his plane couldn't take off, so he had to come over on the Monday. Dan, he still found time for Arthur. And it was the first live gig he'd done in something like 8 or 9 years since his mum passed. Mm. And he still found time for Arthur. I couldn't believe it. Because I was thinking he's going to get cancelled on the Sunday night. When I saw that, I was thinking, that's fucked us then. He's coming from New York. And that's where the problem is. He ain't going to... So they were still setting up when we got there. It was like weird. And he still made time for Arthur Wharton. Think about that. Anyway, he sat there and he suddenly went, bam, 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 and he did his thing. Darlington, County Durham. Arthur Wharton was the world's first black... And George was very emotional. Anybody who's with me, they get immersed in what's going on. Mm. Me, I'm too busy being like a good ambassador for my family or for me or for, for the North East or for football to actually enjoy what I'm doing. People must think I have a great time. Man, it's not where I'm at. Weeks later, I'll wake up and say to my wife, was I really on stage with Stevie Wonder? Because I'm sat at the front and all of a sudden, tap on the shoulder, okay, guys, time to get you to the stage. That's when I said to George, you're going to meet Stevie Wonder now. George is like, oh my God. We got up, spotlights on us, took us to the side stage, spotlights off, Stevie's playing. Okay, Shaun. You see the microphone by Stevie there, just by the keyboard on the floor? You got to pick it up, man. And I'm like, can't see it, Latanya. She says, just there, about you see your right foot. That microphone, pick that up when you get on stage. I can't see it. She said, you're blind like Stevie? It broke the ice. Suddenly, I felt relaxed. I thought, there's a sense of humour going on here. And then Stevie hit this note on the keyboard. And I took, right, off you go, guys, go, go, go. So I got the statue, and I don't know where I got the strength from. I just lifted it up one-handed like that. It's a heavy piece. I just walked on stage with it. I thought, fuck it. This is for you. And I thought, what am I going to say? There, suddenly, I can hear this voice going, pick up the mic, pick up the mic. And it was Latanya Marple behind me. I hadn't picked up the mic. No. Because I still hadn't seen it.
No.
Suddenly, she's handing me it. And I thought, I know where to start. I said, hey, everybody. Great to be in Birmingham, the very place where Arthur first stepped foot on these shores. Remember Shoal Hill, Cannock?
Yeah.
Whole place just... I thought, right, got you now. I'd never done anything like this. But in the back of my mind, at the front of my mind, I'm thinking, good enough for Stevie Wonder? Good enough for anyone else listening? So I was at ease. And as I was talking, Stevie's feeling the statue. He suddenly starts playing with his left hand, while I'm talking. The next day, I get a few emails just saying, hey man, I love the jam you did with Stevie Wonder on stage. I was thinking, I didn't do a jam. But I guess both being musicians, he was either playing in between my talking or I was talking in between his playing. It must have just, come across that way, I guess. But you see, once I'd got that, coming away from there with George, knowing I had Stevie Wonder champion Arthur like that, I wasn't afraid to knock on anybody's door. I got that from that. That's all I wanted.
Wow.
So when I go to the FA or to whoever, I just say, well, Stevie Wonder thinks it should be celebrated.
Yeah. People take you seriously.
And it's in the press and stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, as soon as you mention that, they'll open your email. Mm-hmm. So I had to use tactics that I just didn't naturally have to try and find a way to get as many people in the world to hear the name Arthur Wharton. Not Shaun Campbell, Arthur Wharton. But unfortunately, you're the guy who's also getting photographed. So yeah, you get the occasional death threat, or you go into Combat 18 and it's fucking Shaun Campbell, this and that and the other and stuff. Stupid stuff. Because I'm not championing blackness, I'm championing greatness. People must remember that. A Northeast hero. It's for the Northeast as well as for the world. But it's here. A place where I came for a week and I'm still here 44 years later with 6 grandkids, 3 daughters and a wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came for a goddamn week. That's what the Northeast does to you. The passion, you have to earn your stripes here is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Wow. Like, I mean, I still think maybe I missed something in that story. Have I missed something, or have I heard this story right? That you decided to go to a Stevie Wonder concert with your pal, and you ended up on stage with Stevie.
Not with my pal, no. Oh, you mean George Boateng? Yeah, sorry, yeah, got it.
And you somehow ended up on stage with him.
I was in bed. It was about 2:30 in the morning. I can't forget it because I was laid awake like that, thinking, how the fuck can I get Stevie Wonder to hear this story? Because he will get it. He will understand the wider importance of it. It's his way. And I thought, how? Now, don't ask me how, because you'd need another show. But between the Saturday morning, by Sunday night, I had a yes from Stevie Wonder.
What?
Don't ask me how. I just joined dots. I'm very good at joining dots.
Right.
It was really, well, I must be. I'm not saying I am. I sounded a bit arrogant. I've become used to it. And I got a message through, and Stevie Wonder said, yeah. And I on the Sunday, I thought, what? That's when I had to ring George and say, you better get back over to England on the Monday if you're in Holland, because I need you to meet Stevie Wonder. What? And that's how that came about.
I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
I was thinking like that in itself is a feat. I mean, the fact that you've pulled that off from, because I thought you were going to say, oh yeah, me and Stevie go way back, and I was well, that's easy then.
Yeah.
But like, you literally were starting from nothing, and then had to get to there.
Yeah. I thought I've got to. I'm not going to his concert. To me, it would just feel wrong. I'd like my wife to be with me, kind of thing. But I'll go if I can get Stevie to endorse him. I've got this amazing statue, 2.5 foot tall kind of thing, solid bronze, made by the Royal Sculpture. By the way, our sculpture, this is a little diagram, remind me to come back on track, Stevie Wonder in a sec. The statue that he unveiled, you see, solid bronze, it's very heavy, and it's made by Vivian Malik, right? So, I'm going to skip a little bit here. I started getting, what I wouldn't do is shake the charity bucket for the public. FIFA, UEFA, they're the ones who have a duty of care by one of their own to do the goddamn right thing by this guy, not the public. They're the ones so I had always said, I won't visit Arthur's grave until I've got a commission to commission that statue, type thing. Anyway, I managed to get some money from UEFA, Michel Platini, right? Managed to get some. They said, Shaun, this money's not for the statue, it's for you to push forward. I was like, what? So that's what we did. I've lost my train of thought slightly here, but what was I talking about? So if you can imagine that statue, 2.5 foot tall, and suddenly people are ringing up going, Shaun, we hear you're going to get the statue made. You've got this commission from the FA as well as the FIFA stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it. It means I can ring up the sculptor and say to her, I've got this much. You can now make a start, can you? Yeah? Mm-hmm. So everybody's going, yeah, who's the sculptor, man? Where's he from? And I said, it's Vivian Malik. Oh, where's he from? I said, no, it's Vivienne, not Vivian. And Dan, the disappointing thing was, the overriding kind of feeling I got was, how come you got a lass to do it? This is football. Do you get me? It was almost like Vivienne, a woman, is creating this statue of Arthur Wharton. And then it's like, is she black? No, I don't need a black artist.
Right.
Or a white artist.
I
need the right artist.
Yeah.
So then I found myself having to explain week in, week out how I chose that sculpture. So can I share that with you as to how I got her?
Please.
I thought to myself, I'm just going to scour the internet. We didn't really have the service we've got now. Scour the internet, look at the world's biggest and best sculptures. And when I see one I like, whoever it is, I'm going to get them to do Arthur, right?
It was literally as simple as that.
As simple as that. So I'm scouring, I'm seeing I'm seeing incredible. But there was one piece that kind of moved me. If I kind of stand up and just demonstrate what I saw, it was an Irish dancer, right? Probably sculpture was about 4 foot or something.
Okay.
But she was like this. And I could see like beyond the fingertips. It wasn't like a dead end, it was like she was moving or something.
Right.
I thought, whoever did that, that's what I want. It just happened to be Vivian Mallock, the royal sculptor.
The royal sculptor.
Yeah, that famous piece at Westminster with those soldiers, that's Vivian Mallock.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like she's also sculpted the Queen and the Queen Mother. And then, so I ring her up. I just get hold of her and say, hey, how you doing? My name's Shaun. Next thing you know, man, and that's our sculpture. Oh, there's Sepp Blatter. You see, Sepp Blatter is an interesting... People were likewise. So you see, this imbalance between men and women and people basically saying, how come you're getting a lass to do the statue? In a kind of transferable way, how come you're getting Sepp Blatter involved? Right? It's all about brown envelopes, man. Backhanders is fucking corrupt as fuck. It's not my language. This is the language that was coming to me. I said, whoa, you must mistake me for somebody involved in football. That's not me. I need the blessing of the world. Who's the head of football in the world? Oh, it's Sepp Blatter. This is a football thing for you. For me, it's just doing the right thing and speaking to the top brass in football. I need his blessing and I need his money. So I got hold of Sepp Blatter and went over to Switzerland. And as I walked in, the BBC actually were with me, and Andy Bell and them were filming me at the time for it as well. And I saw him come down a lift with Jerome Valcke, the big guy next to him, the Secretary General. And as he walked out, he went like that. Sepp Blatter went. I thought, you're not the fucking Pope. I'm not walking towards that. I says, have you got your camera turned on? I'm saying to the BBC as he came down like that. And I said, look, I'm not walking. I said, wait till I'll meet him halfway or something, but I'm not walking to that. And anyway, he started walking towards me like this. So I walked towards him. Shaun, welcome to FIFA. We are so happy to have you here. And I said, oh, Sepp, thank you so much, Mr. Blatter, for, embracing the name of Arthur Wharton. I said, but can I just start by saying, and this is on camera and everything, I said, can I start by saying, today it's not about you and it's not about me. It's all about Arthur Wharton and can we agree on that? And I'd like you to do a live interview to BBC T's radio interview. He doesn't do live interviews.
Right.
He hasn't done one in 10 years without being coerced, without his comms team.
Mm.
I said, I really must insist. If we're here today and this is real, and his comms teams were having kittens, and I said, do you not trust your leader? Kind of thing, off camera. I didn't want him to hear this. I says, I want that interview. Anyway, next thing you know, we're doing the interview, we're doing the presentations. And then, of course, afterwards, we sit down, have coffee and talk. I said, listen, Mr. Blatter. I called him Sepp then, I didn't call him Mr. Blatter. I said, listen, Sepp, all this thing about corruption and brown envelopes and that, people didn't want me to come today because of some of that. I says, but I'm not involved in football, but I get it. I love football. I follow it. I know what they're saying. But how is it for you, all of that? And I won't do his accent anymore, but it was kind of like, Shaun, you have to understand. And basically he said, if you go to Africa, they do business like this. If you go to Asia, they do it like that. If you go to South America, they do... He says, everybody does business different. Do you really think, Shaun, I would have got the World Cup in South Africa in 2010 if I hadn't worked in business the way they work in South Africa? Do you want more black players in the game? The reason they're in is because I got them in. To do that, you have to do business in relation to the various continents you're in. And it all made sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
And he got very, very emotional. And then came time for the interview. I said, right, I'd like you to do a live interview to BBC T's. And he was magnificent. I swear to God, he was emotional before the interview. And he spoke absolutely. I will try and find that. It's still online somewhere. I'll send you it. Just listen to what he says, and you'll get it. That's the Sepp Blatter I want to know. See, Michel Platini is the first one who stood up and said, and the reason I went to the UEFA before our English FA is because our English FA has a very bad reputation for blazers. You know, old men in blazers who just won't make the right decisions, who are behind the times and stuff. And I thought that's going to be a hard ask. I'm going to get blessing from UEFA first, the governing body of the FA, and then the FA have to. And this is what. So again, it's strategic, trying to make things. So I got that, got the FA, got FIFA, then I needed the PFA. So then I got the PFA, Gordon Taylor. I said, Gordon, you know, I've seen in the paper today, you're on 1.2 million a year, the highest paid union rep in the world, right? And I saw that people are saying, you know, why is he getting that? And he turned to me and said, I'm worth it. Just I said, right, well, I need 10 grand and I need it now. Mm-hmm. Because it will go towards this. I'm about to give a big press interview, Gordon, right? And the PFA haven't chipped in. I'm going to be singing the praises of FIFA, UEFA and the FA. He was the world's first professional black footballer, Arthur. I need the Professional Footballers Association to buy into it. He said, well, I can't give you 20 grand. I know that's what you're looking for. He says, but I don't need permission to give you that 10 grand. I can just get 10 grand. I'm on my way to Manchester. I'm driving down, get there, great photograph, 10 grand, which cemented everything I needed to do right there. Well, I was protecting the PFA. I didn't need that 10 grand. I needed them to be part of the framework of FIFA, UEFA and the FA. Otherwise, I would have had to call them out. I didn't want to do that.
No.
So I didn't have to. I had to fix the problem, and it got fixed.
You've got a knack for getting in front of people.
Yeah. That's what I mean. First it was Stevie Wonder, then Sepp Blatter. Like,
yeah.
If you give me 24 hours and you went, like, get in touch with this person, I wouldn't even know. Mate, I'd be looking for emails for 6 hours. Literally,
I couldn't even get to Switzerland in 24 hours.
Nah.
You know? Never mind in front of Sepp Blatter.
Nah.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, I think, I always believe that if you're doing it for the right reasons, it will have its way. You just got to be really genuine about, you know, I mean, it's not my story I'm going in with.
No.
It's somebody else's.
Yeah.
But I have to... Classic example of how I would operate, right? 2011, England are playing Ghana. The first time in their history they've ever played Ghana, Arthur's home country. I only realised the game's on a week before. So I ring their FA going, oh my God, you can't have England at Wembley playing Ghana without celebrating Arthur Wharton. Oh, Shaun, it's impossible, man, we haven't got enough time to do that.
Just whack it on the screen, couldn't you, for everybody?
I said, you have to do something. I said, you need the statue there. No, I wanted the statue there. You need to show that we're going to champion him.
Right.
And you FA are part of it. You got to do it. Sorry, Shaun, can't do it. So this is the line I gave him. I said, right, before I go, I would be negligent if I allow you to be negligent by one of your own. So I really must insist. They went, all right then, yeah, okay. That's how we did it.
Right.
And we had Cyril Regis, Brendan Batson, Ronnie Wood, you know, Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Sat next to us in the FA club there. I'm thinking, fuck me, it's Ronnie Wood. I love the Rolling Stones. I thought, I'd love to get his... I thought, I don't do autographs. I never collect them. I could have had thousands. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. But him, I just wanted an excuse to go, hi, man, a fellow guitarist, love your work, you know. And I thought, no. So I just said, I'm off to the toilet. Anyway, I stood up to go to the toilet. And as I'm going to the toilet, Ronnie Wood turned to the guy next to me and went, oh, is that the Wharton guy? I thought, fuck me, he knows who I am. I don't need his autograph.
Wow.
You know, weird, surreal. Is that the Wharton guy? He must have seen it in the programme or something.
Yeah.
Or somebody must have said, we're celebrating Arthur Wharton, and he must have clicked. But that's just, I didn't know him, I didn't meet him, but to hear that, it did tickle my ego a little bit.
I bet it did, yeah.
And I'm not really into that kind of ego stuff.
No.
But that was just one of those peculiar moments where you feel different, not from other people, just within yourself.
Mm.
But that's the exact same time to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
The bit in the middle, not you. You're not here to enjoy it. Meeting Usain Bolt. You know, I'd reached out to Usain Bolt and they were like, Shaun, this is a great story. Yeah, Usain would meet you. He's in Jamaica at the minute. Can you go over? I said, well, I can't do holidays for Arthur.
No.
It would have felt like a holiday, man. I'd have got immersed in the Jamaican culture and I would have been more interested in that. I said, if we're going to do it right, let's wait for the right time. I said, look, and it's the Olympics next year, this year, which was 2012. I'd rather he focused on that. I don't want to be the one who's in the way and he suddenly doesn't win. Or I don't want to be part of his orbit where that year nothing worked out. Can we wait till after the Olympics? People thought I was nuts. They were saying, do you realise all that publicity you could have got if it was during... Usain Bolt, to me, on a human level, adversity isn't just about being skint or losing a leg and having to pull yourself together. If you're Usain Bolt and at every event the expectation is that high, you are in adversity. He has to manage that consistently, continually. He's a likeable person. He has to put that on. He has to not put it on because he's natural, but that's what he does. You know, he's then on the track. That's what he does. He's then got sponsorship things. That's who he is. It's not easy being great. So for me, that was important. Yeah. So anyway, we arranged to meet at Chelsea when England were playing. What was it? 2021? No, 2020 or something. Sport Aid.
Right.
So I went down to meet him, and it was fantastic, man. Wow. And he turned to the camera and he said, Shaun, without Arthur Wharton, there is no Usain Bolt. And it's true, because he's the original, and that's the northeast of England for you, mate.
That's mad, man.
That's the beginning of all of that stuff.
That's crazy.
The northeast of England. Remember, he'll have played in Bishop, he'll have played in Shildon, he'll have played in Darlington, he'll have played in Sunderland, he'll have played in Newcastle, he'll have played for a Middlesbrough Select 11, played for Newcastle United the very season they became Newcastle United when they were Newcastle in District.
Arthur did?
Yeah. Wow. That's why Shaka Hislop and, you know, all these guys really champion him, you know, Shola Maobi and... Yeah, I mean, I've got a lovely picture of the whole Newcastle squad with Arthur's little statue in front of them, and they're all like this. And it was, I'll never forget Leon Best, it was when he was playing for them as well. Anyway, that's another story. But, you know, we connect Arthur to the clubs that he played for. But then we connect him to their communities, because he's their champion. It's not just Darlington's. Rotherham United gave a minute's applause for Arthur. It was remarkable. I'd asked them to do it. They didn't even hesitate. I went through, took his great-great-great-grandson, great-granddaughter and that, and we're outside of the pitch. And it's brilliant. I'll send you a link for that as well.
Yeah, do.
And they gave a minute's applause, and everybody, man, woman, child, stood up and applauded Arthur. Rotherham is the one club that could ask me to do anything, and I can't say no, because that's the club that signed him.
Right.
As a full professional black footballer.
That was the actual club?
Rotherham. Preston first, as a semi-pro.
Yeah.
Then Rotherham as a full pro. Do you support a team?
Newcastle.
Newcastle, all right. So you've already got him in your mind now. He played for you guys. The first ever game at Anfield, right, 1st of September, 1892. The first time Liverpool football team ever stepped foot to play at Anfield.
Okay.
Who's in goal? Arthur Wharton.
Really?
For Rotherham, yeah.
Wow.
Rotherham Town Azure. The last game he ever played was against Man United when they were Newton Heath.
Right.
So, and it was at Chelsea Football Club where he ran to become the world's first ever fastest man on the planet. 10 seconds dead, running in pigskin shoes on a shingle track. And he stood for 37 years. I mean, recently I was in Sunderland at the, it was the 100th anniversary, because it was the Olympics last year, as you know. And it was the 100th anniversary of Chariots of Fire, you know the film? Mm-hmm. So Lord David Putnam, Nigel Havers, the actor and stuff, they're coming to Sunderland to celebrate it. So 1924 was when Harold Abrahams and Eric Liddell had this amazing rivalry. Mm. And they got a film made about them. They ran a quarter of a second slower than Arthur. And yet they got a film. How come? So when they were in Sunderland, a friend of mine rang me and said, Shaun, you can put a piece of history straight in Lord Putnam's hands and in the hands of Nigel Havers. The cup that Arthur won to become the world's first ever fastest man on the planet. I found it.
What do you mean you found it?
Oh, I had to find it. I found that cup You see this one that you're looking at there in the football?
Yeah.
I found that as well.
How?
Oh, that's a brilliant story. It's a northeast story. I'll tell you that one after. I'll stick on the sporting one. Can you find a picture of...
Am I right in saying, is it the Princess Anne?
It's one with the Princess Anne Pasha Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
Just one with him stood with the cup next to him. You'll see him with his legs crossed. It's important. In fact, yeah. Yeah, there's me and Usain Bolt with the actual... Right, so there's Arthur. Go to... Yeah. Right, so you see that cup on your left?
Mm.
Right, that's Arthur. Go. Can you go back and find a clearer picture of that, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, try that one.
Zoom in a bit.
But you can see it there anyway, clearly.
Yeah, I can see it. So you've found this cup?
So that cup had gone missing.
Okay.
Now, one of the last questions for you today to ask me is, Shaun, what's big and what's next for you? Okay? Because it involves this cup.
Yeah.
And I'll come on to that in a sec. But that cup, I rang a guy called George Bunner, Triple A's, Amateur Athletic Association. I thought, I've got to find it.
Yeah, of course.
Where is it? It must be somewhere. Searched everywhere. I got hold of Peter Lovesley, the famous crime author, because he's he's like an authority on athletics history. Okay. George Bunner, Mel Watman, former Olympian, Walter Nicol, chairman of the Triple A's, and I'm saying, guys, where are these cups? Where's this cup? And they said, look, Shaun, to our great shame, we have nowhere to. They're just in people's lofts and basements. I said, hang on a second, our athletics history in terms of cups are in people's lofts and basements, because you've got. I said, that's outrageous. I said, well, we better start looking. Can we all ring round people and find out who's got it? See if get them to get looking. So they said, yep. So I've got all these people looking round at, Alexander Stadium, Sheffield, Hallam, Birchfield Harriers, and they're all looking in their lofts and basements. You know where the goddamn cup was?
Where?
In the basement of the very first person I spoke to. He had it. He never thought about checking his own.
No way.
Swear to God. And on that cup, you have Harold Abrahams, Eric Liddell, Chariots of Fire. Both won it after Arthur, that same cup. And after them, Linford Christie won that same cup 8 times. Don Quarry won it.
Huh.
Right. Alan Wells won it. And you know who the last winner of that cup is?
Who?
Nitro of Gladiators. Also Ghanaian. Swear to
No
God.
way.
Oh, yeah. So I found it. Next thing you know, I'm at the Athletics Hall of Fame Awards. And, yeah, there it is.
Goodness
it's remarkable. And the other cup I found in Northallerton had its lid missing. Basically, I'd rung all the local FAs to say, look, I'm trying to find this cup. Nobody had any idea. And the North Riding FA kept sending me photographs of cups that associated with them. They didn't look anything like it. I thought, what are you sending me these for? It's clearly not. They said, well, Shaun, there is one cup, but we haven't got a picture of it. It's at the Royal British Legion in Northallerton. They've just won it. They're called the Thirsk Falcons. Right. I said, all right. So Thirsk Falcons, I said to my mate Ray, I said, let's take a drive through. You never know. My God. I walked in. There's a glass cabinet, approximately where you are, but higher. That was the cup, man, that they just won. It's that one from 1887.
And you clocked
Not
it
that
immediately?
One. Put that one up, that one there. But the lid wasn't on it, but I know it intimately. You can imagine how much I've zoomed in on this. That cup there was in North, right there, and I thought, what? And Ray and I looked at each other, and I said to Jeff Garbett, the chairman of Thirst Falcons, that's it. And he was emotional. He had no idea what, until I told him, and I'd taken that picture with me, but big like this. He said, Shaun, he says, I can't believe this. Listen, the lads are playing now. They'll be back here in like an hour and a half. Would you please stay and tell them this story? I said, yeah, sure, man. So we stayed, and the lads came in covered in, the pie and peas was there and that, and they put on with the footy and that, and Jeff's, get that shit off, turn the TV off. Listen to this, man. I told them. The response was very unexpectedly brilliant in terms of these are all white guys, no vested interest in the black history, just the story. They've never heard it before. I'm telling them how important that cup is they've just won. One of the lads turns around and says, "Oh, God, I pissed in that. When we won it, I pissed in it." He says, "Fucking hell, I was sick in it." One of them was sick in it, one had pissed in it. And then they showed me this brilliant photograph of the manager asleep with it like that.
Love that.
In his bed. And I said, that can't stay. If that goes, that is massive history. Well, the coach of the football club happened to be the head of armouries, right, at Catterick, or wherever he was at. He said, "I will take that into our armouries tonight." Some guys broke in here last year trying to steal stuff, and they were after that cup because we think it was our rivals who we beat. I said, "Where's the lid?" Oh, the lid, no idea. Anyway, they hadn't seen the lid since about 1983 was the last it was known. So anyway, I found the cup. It made the press and everything. Shaun's fucking found Arthur's cup and all of that. But the lid was missing, so I went on BBC Tees and I put out this appeal. I said, "Look, I don't care if you've smelted it down, it's in pieces. We're looking for a hero just to return it. We don't care what. There's no consequences for you having it. We just need it back to put on this cup." Anyway, about a week and a half later, I got a phone call from FA Ride, the FA at North Yorkshire North Riding FA. "Shaun, shit man, some guy's come in with the lid." I'm like, he said, "Yeah." I said, "What was that?" He said, "Well, you see, in 2012, I'm the guy you might have seen that saved Darlington Football Club from going into administration. I'm part of that Darlow rescue group. So when everything stopped, that was me with the briefcase at the thing, taking the club out of administration. This lad who'd gone in and said, 'That curly-haired guy, the one who saved Darlington, we heard him on the radio. Fuck me, we couldn't keep the lid after that.' It's him. It's the curly-haired guy. Didn't know my name.
No.
Just the curly-haired guy who saved Darlington Football Club. But it wasn't me. There's a team, there's Darlington Rescue Group, but I had a very instrumental part to play in it. And that's why I returned it. So if not for Arthur and the saving of Darlington Football Club, you see how Arthur underpins absolutely everything.
Mad.
It's crazy.
It's mad how it's all coming about, like doing an about face on itself.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So a few weeks after that, after finding the lid, that cup is about to be played for again. The whole year's come round, right? Just by timing coincidence. If you'd have seen that cup, it was shaped like a rugby ball. It wasn't round at the top. That was made in like 1870 something, that cup.
Ancient.
Right? So you can imagine
it's battered.
But for Middlesbrough people, oh my God, when you look at that cup, on the back it's all engraved with Ionopolis, the history of Middlesbrough Football Club. Middlesbrough had won that cup so many times they had to stop playing for it. Thornaby won it, the Skernsiders, St Augustine's, all of these obscure teams engraved on it, stunningly beautiful. The match is coming up, I'm thinking, if we get that lid, it had been repaired, they'd got it repaired from the actual repairers of the FA Cup. When I found that cup, that cup is the second oldest football cup in the world continuously played for.
No.
Swear to God. The only cup older than that that's continuously played, because that gets played for now, is the Scottish FA Cup. That's the only cup in the world that's older than that's been played for. So when I found it, they were still obviously playing for it, weren't they? So I went down to Duke Street in Darlington, found an engraver. I said, "Look, we need this cup making round again." The engraver went, "Oh my God, my dad did that." His dad had engraved on it.
How did he know?
In Darlington. He recognised his style.
Wow.
He said, "Actually, I think I did that." I'm like, "What?" He said, "I'll do this free of charge." And he got it perfectly round. So it's now kick-off for the final to win this cup again. I haven't seen the lid yet. Or rather, I haven't tried the lid on the cup because they've not been together. So the lid arrives, the cup arrives, fit like a glove.
No.
It was like better than a glove. It wasn't one of those lids where you put on and they can just fall off. This was firmly in, but gently taken out. Do you get my drift? It was perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on. There's so many different stories to do with it. But you see, the thing about that cup, the running one, the Princess Anne Pasha Cup, Stamford Bridge, 3rd of July, 1886. You'll find a picture of Usain Bolt with it on there now, somewhere. I think you had one on before. There, look. So all those years... Oh. Don't know what that's doing on there. Oh, there you go. Oh. Yeah. Oh, is that on our website?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. But there's Usain Bolt with a cup. So to have Usain Bolt holding that very same cup that Arthur won, so the plan is this season, before the end of the season, we're going to place that cup back on the centre circle at Stamford Bridge, and I'm going to get Ken Moncow and Sebastian Coe and Usain Bolt and myself. We're going to hopefully ceremoniously place it back at a Chelsea match, take it back home. Mm-hmm. But I need Mo Salah to do it because he's Egyptian. That cup was presented to the AAAs in 1871 by Prince Hassan Pasha, eminent family in Egypt, who was at Oxford, right? So I want an Egyptian. I want to put it back in their family's hands because they have no idea, man, when they hold that it was their famous relative that's got it. So I need to try and work out how to do that. But I'll manage.
Do you know, if you just said that an hour and a half ago, I'd have said, you got no chance, Shaun.
Yeah.
You're never going to get hold of Mo Salah. And then now I've had that last hour and a half, I'm like, yeah, I'll pull it off.
Mo Salah? I touch wood, I'll have no problem getting hold of it. You see, the thing is, he just understands that as the most prominent Egyptian footballer, I'm giving him the honour of putting that cup back into the hands of the Prince Hassan Pasha family. Mm. It's not for me.
No.
I'm doing it for him. Mm. All he needs to understand is Shaun's doing this for me, to give me this opportunity, because that is the truth.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't got the ego to say, look at me handing this to the... I want the right person to hand it to the family. And Arthur being football and athletics, it has to be the right people. So Mo Salah, Egyptian football, perfect, African. And Seb Coe, I don't care about his politics, very important figure in athletics, massive Chelsea fan. He's the one who deserves that honour. So I want them to, with Usain Bolt and myself kind of maybe carrying out the cup or something with a couple of mascots, I don't know. But, I don't need to be on that pitch, but they do.
I've just worked it out for you, like Saturday the 9th of May towards the end of the season, Chelsea and Liverpool play against each other.
Both teams who, Arthur is connected with.
There you go.
So it's perfect. It's that kind of game, yeah. So that's probably the one we'll go for.
Well, I'm fascinated, John. I'm absolutely fascinated by everything, by your passion for this. Well, start from the beginning, that it came from sort of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're evidently selflessly doing this. And like you said, there isn't really a win in this. You're not getting paid for doing this. No. You're doing it purely, as you say, because it's the right thing. I'm inspired, mate. I'm inspired that you've got that much passion. Yeah. And I'm also incredibly impressed that you have managed to get yourself in front of or connected to these various high-profile people, and not just one, like loads of them. Like in this conversation, we've had 4 or 5 of these quite amazing people that most people, don't get in front of one of them. And you've managed in a few years to get in front of a load of them.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's not. I'm not like, and you clearly recognise it's not like name dropping or anything. It's just that if you ask me a story, I have to tell you the story, and
it's all part of the story.
Unfortunately, it's part of the story. I'd rather be more humble and not have to mention their names, but I wanted telling you so you can follow a pattern.
Yeah, no,
and see
totally
who's involved. Really.
What I admire about it is all the branches that come off.
Yeah,
and how it all ends up leading back to Arthur.
Yeah, it's huge. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. Especially, the Arthur Wharton thing's wonderful. That thing about the chap in the army, that one got me a bit.
What was that?
Yeah, that one's a bit. That's a bit deep. That one.
It is deep.
It's just wrong, innit? It's just wrong. That's what it is.
On all levels.
So
Walter Tull, yeah.
I think I assume that the reason you started this foundation was to shed light on. Yeah. And I think you've done it. Yeah. I think you've done it. I think it's mission, I won't say complete, but it's a successful mission.
You see, that's a very interesting phrase, that, because when I got this statue erected, people said, Shaun, wow, well done, you've done it.
Yeah.
Is that it? I was like, no, that's the beginning. That's just a signpost now. The rest is about his legacy. It's no good having a statue that you can just go and look at and admire. What does it mean? What does it stand for? What is the point of it being there? Well, the point is to inspire and motivate.
I guess that the question is then, as you pointed out a while ago, that is the right question here at this stage in the podcast, which is, so what's the aim then? So you've achieved all this.
Yeah.
You've definitely achieved what you set out to do, which is bring recognition to this. But yes, it's a mission that's going well, not a mission that's complete. So what does a completed mission look like?
It's very close. And it's to do with making sure that every aspect of Arthur's legacy. You see, we've spoke mostly about football and running, haven't we? If you think athletics. What about his cricket? What about his rugby? What about cycling? If I'd taken on all of these governing bodies at once, I'd have gone insane.
Of course you would have,
So I began with football, gone to athletics, now we're doing cricket. And lo and behold, who's just... The West Indies cricket team, believe it or not, when they were over here at Durham. I mean, I'm still gobsmacked. The West Indies cricket team is the most recognisable, cherished brand in the world in cricket, even though they're not a very good team at the minute. But there's reasons for that, and we know what they are. It's politics to do with the islands. But it's the most recognised brand. Anyway, I got them. They learnt the story of Arthur when they were in Durham last year. My God. I'm on the phone to the president of the West Indies Association and the CEO and all of that, and they're like, oh my God, man, we can't believe this guy. What? And his father was born in Grenada in the Caribbean. I said, yeah, he was a white Scottish missionary, born in Grenada. And they were like, look, can we partner with you? So the West Indies cricket team have said, we want to be the team that aligns with you. Can we align with you? And I'm like, yeah. Next thing you know, my phone's going bing, bing, bing. It's the West Indies cricketers going, Arthur Wharton, #1. Arthur Wharton, #1. Arthur Wharton, #1. You know, it's like...
Wow.
So now we're working out what cricket is going to do for Arthur Wharton. And then, through Mario Toji, that will be rugby, and that will go through Mario Toji. Or another... There's somebody else I've got in mind. I don't want to say their name, but we know Mario Toji is the one to take this forward with us. And then cycling, I want to do that through, you know, the simple acknowledgement that he won a cycling champion from, you know, Preston to Blackburn or something. Yeah. This guy was unreal. So I want, you know, Sir Chris Hoy, ideally, because he's facing adversity right now. I'd like him, and also has a shared Scottish heritage. I'd like him to champion Arthur for us as a cyclist. Do you know what I mean? Just to bring attention that there was a black cyclist all them years ago, because you don't see them really.
No.
You know what I mean? What I would like to share with you is the most exciting thing that's come out of all of this, which hasn't happened yet, but this will be a culmination, and this would probably be the point at which I think, phew, my job's kind of done. Because that's a question you asked me. In the history of the United Kingdom, in the entire history of it, we have never ever had a National Athletics Museum. Can you believe that?
I can't, no.
It's unreal.
Why not?
I mean, why not? So, in 2012, I ran with the Olympic torch, right? Proudly. Fortunately, I got to run 2 legs because the guy after me was ill, and Dame Tanny Gray-Thompson said, can you do 2 legs? I was like, damn right I can. Do I get 2 torches? No, okay, fair enough. So I ran with that torch. In fact, buried beneath Arthur Wharton at St George's Park is the history of Darlington, including my Olympic torch running shoes and stuff.
Right.
All buried in there.
Really?
Poems from junior schools. We don't leave Arthur alone. No, man. We've got my Kente Ghanaian Kente cloth buried beneath it.
Beautiful.
This is what I wear when I give talks underneath and stuff. It just brings Africa to the fore, you know. So there's a piece of this buried underneath it. There's my Olympic torch running shoes. There's newspaper articles. There's names of people who've supported us. And it's just buried there underneath him. It's not a time capsule. You'd have to slice through it to look at the layers of where it is, because the concrete's like that to hold him in, you know, with the spanner like that. But the thing is, trying to get that football cup, when Chariots of Fire was on at Sunderland last year, that anniversary, 2024 rather, the idea that I could put Harold Abrahams and Eric Liddell into the hands of Lord Putnam,
huge,
and Nigel Havers, is massive. Huge. Steve Cram's hosting it with Alison Kirbishley. Jeff Brown is the main host. So I rang up Lord Putnam's people. I can do that because I've met him. He's my confidant when it comes to making a biopic movie about Arthur. That's a different...
Watch this space.
Well, that's Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry Studios, Barack Obama Productions. They're the kind of people I'm wanting to do this. This is the path I'm heading towards at the minute. But park that for one side, because the most important thing is what I'm going to tell you now. This United Kingdom has never celebrated our athletes ever properly. They've never had a museum. So if you want to see Steve Cram's spikes, you know where you have to go?
Where is that?
Fucking Switzerland. To Lausanne. I want our young people from Sunderland, he's a big Sunderland fan, or wherever he's from, to go and look at the spikes he wore, the top he wore, understand that this guy should be celebrated, man. So anyway, this event's coming on, and I get this phone call saying, you can do this. I rang Lord Putnam's people, and they're like, oh my God, you've got a cup that Harold Abrahams and Eric Little... I said, yeah. 1923, 1924, there's Harold Abrahams, there's Eric Little. I can put them in your hands. They're like, oh, Shaun, please, God, can you bring it through to the... So then my courtesy, I ring the fire station, I ask them, they're like, oh my God, David would love that. Yeah, please, yeah. So then we end up having a VIP thing, take the cup through, right? And I'm talking with Steve Cram backstage now. They're about to go on, and there's me and all of them, milling. Lord Putnam and everybody, great. I said to Lord Putnam, you do know when you made Chariots of Fire, they ran a quarter of a second slower than Arthur. On the 3rd of July, just so 1886. Yeah. I says, but no, I was right up front with them. I says, but they got a movie made about him. Perhaps you weren't aware of Arthur at the time, or he's black. He's not going to be in your... You know what I mean? And I was really up, and I says, but what really upsets me is that in 2012, when I ran the Olympic torch, when I'd finished, I thought, I'm going to go to the Athletics Museum and have a look at some of the memorabilia. There wasn't one. I said, I made a pledge to myself in 2012, that can't be right. Something has to be done about it, and then I forgot. Negligent like everybody else.
Well, you've been busy.
Yeah, or I'm negligent. I see it as being negligent. I should have picked it up. Yeah, you're right. I could only focus on so many things, but I said, but I'm making a pledge today. This was actually in Sunderland at this event. I said, Steve, and I told him the whole story of Arthur, the story of the struggles to get that cup, not that one, sorry, the running cup to that event. The struggles. I'm the guy who found it, and I had to struggle to find it. And you know where I had to pick it up? From a goddamn locked cupboard in Birmingham the day before. I'd had to jump on a train, no money, nothing. A friend of mine quickly got me a ticket, said, Shaun, don't fuck about, get on the train, otherwise you'll never get back in time for the event tomorrow. I got on the train, I had no card on me, nothing, I didn't even have a jacket. And I'm on a train, going to Birmingham, no coffee, nothing. All that journey, get there, they produced 2 boxes out of a cupboard. They said, right, Shaun, these are for you, sign these off. I says, well, have you got a coffee or something? I'm absolutely... No courtesy, nothing.
Or a jacket.
Just a receipt. Yeah. So anyway, I signed for I said, you sure you want me to sign for both of them? And I look in both of them. One of them has got nothing to do with that cup, Arthur Wharton. It was the 1930-odd hammer throwing cup.
Oh.
Right. So she's about to let me walk out of there with that, thinking it's part of that.
Right.
That's how you lose your cups. That's how you lose your memorabilia. That is negligent. And I said to her, right, I'm going to take this hammer cup with me. Sorry, what was that? And I played games with her, basically, saying, no, I've signed for it. I'm taking it. I said, you shouldn't have let me have that. Right, she was only a young girl. I didn't want her to get in trouble. I wasn't going to tell anybody.
No.
But she needed a lesson to learn right there and then. This is how we lose our memorabilia. This, you were just too busy chewing your gum and whatever else you were doing.
Not paying attention.
You did not pay attention. You followed the numbers they've sent you for these boxes. What number's that? That's not that, is it? So why have you given it to me? Don't ever let that happen again, otherwise I'll turn you in, girl. You know, that kind of thing. And then before you knew it, we're laughing about it. But she needed to understand. But that sharpens the focus on how easy it is for that cup to go missing, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I say this to Steve Cram. And I say, how come we've never had an athletics museum, Steve? And Alison Kirbishley, and we're all talking. He says, Shaun, I just don't get it. I just don't know. I says, but it's your responsibility. It's not mine. You're the athletes. It's just that you don't have the ego for it, because I know you're much more humble than the football world, who it's got to be about them, you know. Yeah. He said, I just don't know. I says, right, Steve, I'm making a pledge, we're getting one. I said, if I want to go and see your spikes, that's why I know they're in Lausanne. He said, you have to go to Lausanne. Anyway, he said, Shaun, you're right. If you want to learn about natural history, you go and look at dinosaurs in the Natural History Museum. And you follow the timeline of evolution. Can't do that in athletics, can you? I said, no, Steve. If you want to learn about railways, you go to a railway museum. You look at the history of the railways, the development of the process. If you want to learn about football, you go to the National Football Museum.
Yeah, there is things.
Nothing for athletics.
Nothing at all.
So I make a pledge. So what I'm on with now, I've met with Brendan Foster, I've got his full backing. I've got Steve Cram, Tanny Gray-Thompson, Usain Bolt. It's all like, fucking hell, we never even realised. Let's do it. You know, Shaun, well, not let's do it. You're the only one you're the one to do it. So I know I've got their backing. I've met with Ben Houchen, I've met with local MPs. At the moment, I've got Sheffield, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, London, all held at bay. I've said, basically, you've had the history of the United Kingdom to do this, and you haven't done it. So don't get in my way. It needs to come to Darlington. We're very lucky that the world's first ever blue ribboned event winner is Arthur Wharton. So that gives us our legitimacy. We have the best rail network in the world, spending 29 million quid up at the railway station. North East Rail, piece of piss. But the most important thing is, this is the middle of the country, of the UK. London, 200 miles that way. Edinburgh, 200 miles that way. Don't show me the arrogance of saying it needs to go to Birmingham just because we've got an athletic stadium. It's not going to happen.
No.
So I need the North East. So if you're listening North East, I need you to understand that this is an extremely difficult fight for me to get it here. I need the right piece of land or the right building to convert. The backing's there. I've got the support of England Athletics, UK Athletics, Triple A's, because they've never done it. They haven't been able to. Somehow, I've got to find a way to do it. I've got backing. We won't need money, because money will have to come from the government, Heritage Lottery, Sport England. That's where the money should come from. This is about them paying tribute to one of our own, not their own. One of us. It doesn't matter what party you're from. Our athletes deserve recognition.
And there should be something
properly.
like that.
Yeah.
There should be.
Absolutely.
You should be able to go and see Usain Bolt's boots, Mo Farah's winning shirt, Dame Tanny Gray-Thompson's winning wheelchair, you know. And by the way, I don't want a separate section for Paralympics. No. The equivalent sports, whoever's the fastest wheelchair athlete is celebrated exactly the same as the fastest runner in the world, Usain Bolt. They're in the same space. Have to be.
Have to be.
There's not a wing for Paralympics to make it like lesser or different. No. The adversity that Dame Tanny Gray-Thompson or some guy running who's lost a leg and has an artificial leg, it's exactly the same. The adversity, the commitment you put in, the passion for the sport, the integrity for it, it's exactly, why lessen it by saying, oh, they've only got one leg? I mean, because that's what it boils down to. It's like bollocks. The endeavour is the same. And if there's one thing as human beings that we thrive on and that we've all done, every single one of us, we've all done athletics. We haven't all played football. We haven't all played cricket or
We've
rugby.
all done athletics.
We've all done athletics at school. Athletics is the foundation to become a footballer or a cricketer. And yet that is the one thing that is not celebrated. You see, it's one thing you and I, Dan, watching Usain Bolt run in 9.48 seconds. You need an opportunity to go on a track and race Usain Bolt. That's what I'd like to see you do. So there'll be a red light. You'll chase him. You'll race against him. That needs to be on site so that you can see exactly what it takes to do 100 yards in 9.48 seconds. That's what our kids need to do. When our kids have dreams and ambitions of being an athlete, if they're going to be a hurdler, have you ever stood next to a hurdle?
No, but I know where you're going. I've heard that they're higher than you think.
They're up here, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and they're gliding over them. People need to stand next to it. And when you look at the pole vault, it's all right seeing it looks high on TV. You need to be stood underneath that beast and say, but somebody jumps off that on a pole. Are they mad?
Raged, innit?
Yeah.
You need to be able to
Raged.
pick up the shot put and feel the weight of it under guidance, because it'll break your foot if you drop it. That's what they're throwing. It's no good just watching it.
No.
Now, can you imagine how many heroes from the North East we could produce if they had the opportunity to go in there every day and have a specialist training programme and connected with it to find the next Arthur Wharton? Not as a black person. When Arthur became the world's first fastest runner, nothing to do with being black.
No.
He was the first human being
Yes.
to run 10 seconds dead.
He just happened to be black.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not the first black athlete. He's the first athlete to do it.
Wow.
So, You know, I mean, look, there's so much more I could tell you about. But I need to see if you have any questions about anything you haven't covered, or because I know I've talked quite a lot.
To be honest, Shaun, I think certain podcasts go different ways.
Yeah.
And this was a podcast, this happened naturally, and this was a podcast where, quite frankly, we needed to shut up and listen. And that's what this podcast was about. I think you've articulated everything right, well. I think you've explained everything thoroughly. All I can, without blowing smoke up your backside, I'm very, very impressed with you, with everything that you're doing. Like I say, if an hour and a half ago you'd sitting in front of somebody I'd just met that was saying that they're on a mission to get, a museum of sport put together and it end up in Darlington, I'd think, oh yeah, where'd you find this guy? But after an hour and 45 minutes of speaking to you, it's like, shit, he's probably going to pull that off. He's that type of guy. He's probably going to pull it off. Somehow, I don't know how, but I'm sure there'll be another podcast in the future, a few years from now, where he's sitting here telling me, I sorted that.
Well, we say a few years from now, man, I need to do this by October 28th of this year. Because at the moment, we're in 160th anniversary of Arthur Wharton, born 1865, 2025. Mm-hmm. We've just received a full letter of endorsement from the president of Ghana, supporting everything we do. Wow. He's like, wow. And he's been photographed with the statue of Arthur and stuff like this. And I would like, not the building, but I would like our local MPs, I would love the North East to come together as a whole North East to do this, rather than just Darlington. See, Brendan Foster would like it in Gateshead, probably. Steve Cram would like it in Sunderland. I don't care where it goes, as long as it's in the North East.
Okay.
But Darlington just happens to be something that I want to try and push. And I've found a piece of land there that I think it could work on brilliantly. But I need the blessings of the council, a couple of local entrepreneurs just to kickstart it. The money to build it and that, I have no problem at all in thinking about getting at all. I know where how this can happen. It's that beginning bit of everybody going, have we got the courage to do this? Fuck your courage. Do your duty. You don't need courage. You just need to do the right thing by every athlete, and that means every single person who's ever had a sports day at school. Do the right thing by them.
Shaun, that is fucking, pardon my French, like, mad. What an absolutely crazy, but wonderful story.
Yeah.
What a wonderful cause. We all go about our lives, don't we? Pretty oblivious to this sort of stuff. And then someone like Shaun sits down and explains, he maps it all out to you. Probably makes you think.
And then people tomorrow won't realise, and that it'll be me at Whitley Bay on the front by the links. It'll be me they'll see covered in fucking cement and my work trousers and my big work boots, shoveling. It'll be me, and they won't have a clue. Yeah. Even if they see this, because I'll have my bandana on or my hat or something. I'll be beasting something, and see, that's my release from the. Because this is, see, when I've got to do an adrenaline dump when I leave here, because I know that it takes a lot of energy to listen to me as well as me giving it, because I need you to tell somebody else's story, not just you. When you go, you'll be, fuck man, this guy. And as long as you're talking about Arthur Wharton, that's another person that's getting reached, and that's how the tentacles are going out, because it's never about me. Clever. It's about me persuading you to go and tell some other person about Arthur, because there's somebody out there much better than me at doing this for Arthur. I need to find them. Because I'm not getting any.
I don't think there's anyone much better than you, mate.
If I'm alive, I can teach them before I pop my clogs. as long as they're committed. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, we have a duty of care by each other as brothers. You, me, Kieran, the person I've never met who I'm going to bump into when I walk out. We're all under exactly the same threat from what's going on in the world right now. We're all under the same cosh when it comes to migration issues and, reform and Labour and all of this political stuff that's going on, the Trump effect, and all of this. I mean, it's mad. We're living in a pretty mad world right now.
Crazy.
To have a little bit of focus just going forward. If you focus on something like this, that just blows away. In fact, I use it. I can get to anybody, anywhere in the world right now. I know I can. If I want to reach somebody, I can get them. I know how to do it. only because the world's in turmoil. And when you're in turmoil, right, people ain't thinking straight. They're leaving doors open. They're leaving things unlocked. I don't mean practically. I'm talking metaphorically here. There's little avenues to get in because you can play the game more now. You can jump ship and then jump back. You couldn't do that before. Would I compromise myself like that? Not in a million years. But I see people doing it all day long.
But you know a lot of people that will.
But there's one yes, exactly. But there's one little leap that I could do as long as I'm comfortable with it. And if I do that, I'll get it. But I'm not comfortable with it. And I probably won't be. Well, the one thing I'm thinking of, I won't be able to deliver. That I'm thinking, why would I want to deliver it? It's because of the power associated with it. Not for me, but the power you get from meeting and doing this particular thing. I'm thinking that is not an alignment that sits comfortable with Arthur's legacy. Do you follow me?
I do.
So I'm trying to navigate. Oh, yeah, I'm speaking in riddles at the minute because I know I can't really say much about this particular scenario. But the main scenario for people to think about is a National Athletics Museum celebrating our heroes, which we've never done. That's going to be my focus. The biopic movie on Arthur is a close second, but they run, aside each other. That means it needs to be made by the best of us. Mm-hmm. And that means I've got to try and get into the Oprah Winfrey space. I want to use the Tyler Perry Studios, Barack Obama Productions to film the making of the film. So the documentary about the making of this. Because I'm not going to have a shitty, trashy film about Arthur made. Anybody could do that with this story. Mm. It's got to be made by the right people. Yeah, Ridley Scott and people. Ridley's from around here. I've got a connection with Ridley Scott through David Putnam and one or two others. He's too old to be a producer on it, but he can be an executive producer. Mm-hmm. For example, Trudy Styler, Sting's wife, is main producer. Northeast connection again. Use all the Northeast connections. Do you know what I mean? To come together and say, we have to do this for our region, man. Because if we do it for the region, we're doing it for the world, aren't we? Because that's what Arthur did. The beginning of the black presence of all of those sports in this country and beyond. Can you believe that? It's incredible. On that note, my mouth's gone dry. I can't say any more, I don't think.
I'll tell you what, if there's a man that can,
dear.
Shaun can.
Yeah.
Listen, Shaun, we're gonna leave that there, mate. I think that's the perfect natural way to end this podcast. Just tell the viewers once to pick the jaws up off the floor, how could they get in touch if they want to be a part of your more?
Well, you can go to arthurwhartonfoundation.org, go onto the website. You'll see a link to send me an email or something like that. If you've got any ideas, creative ideas, don't think they're stupid. I won't. No. I will look at them and think, that won't work. But the main thing is, thanks for putting it in front of me. Because I don't care where the information comes from, a 5-year-old or a 100-year-old. I just want the right information to make me do it. I haven't got the ego for thinking, it's my idea. I want it to be somebody else's idea that is better than me, that I can then take forward. Because I can unlock the door if you've got the idea. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Evidently. Shaun will unlock that door.
Yeah.
Listen, Shaun Campbell, thank you so much for coming in.
Just before we end off, we'll leave all the information, videos, stuff like that from the England video, which we didn't get to watch today, in the description below. So if you want to have a look, the unveiling of the big statue, learn more about Arthur Wharton from the Arthur Wharton Foundation's website, everything like that, it'll be below.
Yeah. Amazing guest, amazing story, amazing foundation.
I can say we are on Facebook and Twitter, and I don't really use Twitter that much, but it's on there, and Instagram as that. You just type in Arthur Wharton Foundation and you'll find
Follow
us.
the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Shaun Campbell. This has been People Like Us. You're very welcome, and we'll see you next time.